car is in at the end of this lap. So they obviously agree with us, and you can see the drivers have been champing at the bit the last couple of laps. They know it's nearly ready to go.
Okay, folks, fasten your safety belts. This is going to be it. The French Grand Prix, after a good few laps behind the safety car, is going to restart when Gavin pilots the silver Mercedes into the pit lane, and Rubens Barrichello sees a clear track ahead of him. That's clearly not just to make the pit lane look tidy. That's for when their next pit stop happens. They don't want standing water. Easy enough to lock the wheels going into your pit garage of what is made up of 18 of your own mechanics. So mechanics very much thinking of themselves and their team there and clearing the standing water from the pit lane. Lap 35. Where is Gavin now? He's at the 180. He's still got to come up to Imola. He's still got to come up to the Chateau d'Eau. You can see, looking across at the skyline, that the conditions are visibly better than they were. It's infinitely brighter. The rain has well stopped. A lot of the water, by no means all of it, is on the track. And the lights are out. Now we're at Imola. The right, the left, now up to Chateau d'Eau, the right-hander. And Oliver Gavin gets ready to peel off and into the pit lane. Are you ready then? Because now the French Grand Prix is again. I can tell you, I will be so nervous. Now Barrichello's now takes over the role of the safety car. Barrichello now has control, and he's going to back them all up, and then he'll scamper out of that last corner as quick as he can. There'll be plenty of spray, and there he goes. So Barrichello leads in. Nobody can overtake to the start-finish line, and they're through, but plenty of spray, look, and a lot of pressure on Barrichello. I can tell you, they're all super nervous on the restart of this race. So easy to make a small mistake and be sitting in the gravel trap. But Barrichello has the advantage. Clear track, no spray. Häkkinen is taking a faceful. So is Frentzen there in third position. Michael Schumacher is still fourth. I didn't see him behind the yellow door. There he is. Michael Schumacher still in fourth position ahead of Olivier Panis. And this is the half distance, lap 36 out of 72. As Schumacher challenges Frentzen and runs wide, loses momentum. Frentzen accelerates away. Michael Schumacher is on a charge. Remember what James Allen said. Michael Schumacher's car is set up for wet conditions with more downforce from the rear wing. This should help the German. Michael Schumacher challenging Frentzen. There they are. First, second, third, fourth. And Olivier Panis not so far behind in fifth position ahead of Jarno Trulli. Damon Hill is out of Trulli's way. Unfortunately, Hill in the garage, out of the race. And Rubens Barrichello leads at this half-distance point. That dark visor appears shining in what light there is here at Magny-Cours. Once again, Barrichello being particularly cautious, but hasn't stood him in too bad a stead this afternoon. He does still continue to lead this race, but Barrichello, quite a wise head on him now, but being super cautious, and if Häkkinen gets a sniff, I think he'll pass him easily under braking. Schumacher getting visibly worried. He wants to get past Frentzen. He can see that Barrichello and Häkkinen are going to pull away from him. Schumacher wants to win this race as much as anybody else does. He's dropped to second place in the World Championship. There is Michael Schumacher, and there is the gap. Barrichello, Häkkinen, and that Ford engine is really punching out the power. Yes, Häkkinen got well out of shape actually in the middle of Estoril. The problem he's got now is he can't actually see where he's going either, and you can see he fell back from Barrichello and then takes a lot of time out of him under braking. Barrichello super cautious. Häkkinen would have seen that, and well, if Michael Schumacher could only see where he was going, I think he'd be having a go at Frentzen too. Well, I think Rubens Barrichello is distinctly going to be in danger at Adelaide at the next corner, because Mika Häkkinen's prowess at that hairpin is awesome to watch, and I use the word advisedly. He's under the wing almost of Barrichello's Stewart car, and there is Frentzen behind him, Michael Schumacher. Curves like that, you've just seen them leading into this short straight. In the dry, they're absolutely nothing. You don't even give them any thought. In the wet, it's the perfect opportunity to just spin off straight into a concrete wall. You start driving the track a few metres in front of you instead of looking down the road as you do in the dry. In the the wet, you bring your focus and you're just waiting for the car to twitch. You're driving the piece of track you're on at that moment at all times.
Now, Häkkinen will be looking to get as close to Rubens Barrichello as he can before he gets to the Adelaide hairpin.
Yes, last time round, Häkkinen tried to get on the power too early and got out of shape and lost that time. Now he's got to be smoother, calmer in the middle of Estoril. Then I think he should stay just about close enough to have a dive up the inside of Barrichello as they go into Adelaide. There's a long way back. It's Schumi that's got the best chance, isn't it?
Yeah, Schumacher right up with Heinz-Harold Frentzen now. And Rubens Barrichello, of course, knows as well as does Mika Häkkinen what the Finn is going to try. And he tries right up behind Rubens Barrichello.
Oh, he's going to spin. He caught the white line on the inside.
Through goes Schumacher. That was bad for Mika Häkkinen and Panis. Mika Häkkinen has shot himself well and truly in both feet.
Häkkinen put the car on the inside of the curve, an absolute no-no. He was clearly watching Barrichello or something. Look, puts the car on that white line, spins up the inside rear wheel, and you're always going to go round. That was a very simple, straightforward error there from Mika Häkkinen.
And it's paid off for Rubens Barrichello in terms of the tactics he has been following. Take it easy, he's saying to himself. And now, Frentzen is up into second place, as he was at Montreal 2 weeks ago. Stewart leads with Barrichello at the wheel. Jordan is second with Frentzen at the wheel. Mika Häkkinen spins down. Michael Schumacher is up into third place. And Mika Häkkinen's going to have to look at the way Schumacher is going now.
I think Schumacher's just pulling out so he can see where he's going. You always just try and pull out of the other guy's slipstream. Not as much as to overtake him, it's just to see where he is.
Yeah, Michael Schumacher is sizing up Heinz-Harold Frentzen, who won't see the Ferrari in that ball of spray behind him. But what guts this requires from all of them. They're driving into a blinding ball of spray. And Michael Schumacher has got the bit well and truly between his teeth. He knows that Häkkinen is out of the running. And now, can he get past Heinz-Harold Frentzen as they come out to Adelaide? Look at the spray.
Schumacher can see nothing. The camera sees through that spray. Schumacher's looking through 50 metres of spray. The camera's looking through 3. But Schumi comes in, just easily, just presses the brake so gently and rolls it up the inside. Once again, Frentzen, much too easy a touch into Adelaide.
Now, Michael Schumacher sees Rubens Barrichello ahead of him. And the gap is about 1 second. Michael Schumacher from 6th on the grid now races in 2nd position, and Mika Häkkinen is down in 7th place behind Ralf Schumacher, Trulli, Panis and Replay.
Yes, Replay there. Michael, very smart, very calm. It would have been very easy for him to go up there and just block a front wheel. He's just rolled it in, and if Frentzen turned in, he knows he could still just about do something about it. I'm sorry, but Frentzen not doing a good job in that corner today. Look, Eddie Jordan shaking his head. I think he's probably agreeing with me.
The sad shake of the Irish head of Eddie Jordan, because he knows now that with Michael Schumacher ahead of Frentzen and Schumacher getting out of shape, he's right on the ragged edge now, closing up on Rubens Barrichello. The gap was 1.4 seconds. It's certainly less than that now. As Schumacher goes across the line, I tell a lie, it's 1.5 seconds. But Schumacher, 2nd position. Barrichello leads. Frentzen 3rd. Panis is 4th. And both the Prosts have moved up a place, of course. They're 4th and 5th. Ralf Schumacher is 6th. Mika Häkkinen out of the points. There's no McLaren in the points at the moment. Although I have no doubt that Mika Häkkinen will soon get past Ralf Schumacher in the Williams Supertech.
Not so sure. I think you could well be right, Murray, but Häkkinen's not been as strong in the wet as in the dry. But I fear that Barrichello's days are numbered of leading this race. But there's several people who cruised up and had a go at him. Somehow he stayed in front. Damon Hill apparently had engine problems with the Jordan. That's why he came into the pit garage and stopped.
That certainly won't increase his motivation to continue. And Rubens Barrichello, I keep reminding everybody, is no new boy. This is his 103rd Grand Prix, in spite of the fact that he's still only 27 years old. And he's very, very mature, and he'll certainly need to be, because he's got the toughest man in Formula One gaining on him visibly. There he is, Michael Schumacher, Ferrari, and it's go now as they come down out of Chateau d'Eau, down to the last corner, and Michael Schumacher will be going for Barrichello at Adelaide.
Yes, I think Barrichello's going to be easy meat anytime soon.
soon. Michael's got a lot more confidence, especially into the braking areas, and Michael somewhat more acrobatic behind the wheel. But as we said before, Barrichello still maintains the lead, even if he's constantly under pressure.
So, Michael Schumacher, I remind you, has won this race 4 times in the last 5 years. There's something about Magny-Cours that suits the German.
Yeah, now Michael got on the white line on the exit of Estoril there and lost a hatful of time. You just cannot touch the white lines. Everybody knows that. Sometimes you can't avoid it if you're understeer wide. And that's where Rubens has got to find some confidence. Wind the brake balance a couple of turns to the rear. I think he's already done some of that. And don't lock the fronts. It's easier to cope with a slight locking of the rear if you can. And Barrichello there has got to find some way of braking later. I don't think he's any slower anywhere else. He's just massively slow on the brakes.
Well, he's going to need to be very good when he gets up to Chateau d'Eau. It's unusual for someone to pass before the chicane, which finishes the lap, but I have seen it before. They're into Imola, they're coming up to Chateau d'Eau now. Look where Michael Schumacher is, he's got the momentum. It's lap 41 out of 72. I said this race was going to be a cracker when they restarted. My goodness, it certainly is. Frentzen is not giving up, and nor is Panis 4th, truly 5th, Ralf Schumacher 6th. Mika Häkkinen is still out of the points, and Schumacher is right up with the Stewart now. Now is the time for Michael Schumacher to get through as they come up to the Grand Cours on the inside. Is he going to go?
No, he won't get through there, but Häkkinen must think his world's come to an end. He was about to take he took the lead of the race, or about to take the lead of the race, spins off, goes back into 7th place. Now he's got the Irvine's Ferrari all over the back of him. So Häkkinen's afternoon turning around in quite a hurry, and still Barrichello maintains enough lead, and he now breaks up the inside, and there seems to have been a lot more grip.
Look at Schumacher! Fantastic! Unbelievable!
Rubens, you've got to break later, my friend. And now Schumacher blocks the apex again nicely, but Barrichello gets away. It's almost like Michael was out of gear. It's like Michael was in the wrong gear. So Schumacher came in so deep, I'm not sure he really intended to arrive quite that fast. Look at that.
Watch yourself, Rubens.
Schumi running well wide. He seems to be under control. And then it's almost stationary. He's looking for a gear or something there. And Rubens comes back on the inside. Good
Lovely
stuff.
bit of calm, composed driving from Rubens Barrichello.
Yeah, but Michael came from 100 metres back or something.
I couldn't believe it. But he's going to do it again. He's not going to give up. Michael Schumacher, push, push, push. Looking for those 10 World Championship points. And look at Frentzen. Frentzen is still as close to Schumacher as he was before. And Schumacher's going to have a go again as they come down to complete the lap. This is lap 42. 30 laps to go. Panis is having a go at Frentzen for 3rd position.
Michael also is quicker into the last corner, but he'd be crazy to take a dive there. He knows he's significantly faster than Rubens, and it's only a matter of time. So Michael patiently hanging around there, struggling to get traction out of that last corner, and Frentzen and Panis now closing in on the pair of them.
I hate to remind the Jerry Myers that after the Spanish Grand Prix they were moaning and groaning and whining about dull Formula One. Then we had Montreal, and now we've got this. This is great motor racing.
Now brake on the inside, Rubens. There's a lot more grip. There he goes. Look, yes, he's taken an unusual line where the tarmac is less used, less polished. You get an awful lot more grip there. Rubens just seems to have found that, and suddenly Michael didn't take as much out of him.
Well, my hat comes off and my heart goes out to Rubens Barrichello. If he can resist pressure like he's getting now. And Eddie Irvine has got ahead of Mika Häkkinen, unseen by us.
Look, Michael's got his wheel up the inside and Rubens is having to yield, but there's more grip around the outside, the go-kart line, and Rubens still somehow leads this Grand Prix. What incredible maturity.
And Mika Häkkinen is in real trouble. He was right up at the front. He's now been passed by Eddie Irvine, who, as he did in Montreal, is really on a charge. He's in 7th position ahead of the McLaren. No McLaren in the points, one Ferrari in the points, and the other Ferrari 1 place behind Jarno Trulli, who is 6th. That's Barrichello leading. Schumacher is 2nd. They're completing lap 43. That's Heinz-Harold Frentzen behind them. So it is Stewart, Ferrari, Jordan, and in the background you see the other Ferrari of Eddie Irvine. There's only 5 seconds covering the first 6 places.
And Michael's got to not let his car run to the outside white line. He's got to stay on the black stuff, and he just does it. So he doesn't lose as much on Barrichello this time. Can Barrichello repeat his better braking up the inside into Adelaide, or will Michael come at him? And here comes Michael. And this time Michael should make it stick. Yes, he does.
Oh, marvellous by both of them. But Michael Schumacher showed the way and leads in France on lap 44. And now Heinz-Harold Frentzen has seen what his countryman has done. He'll be having a go at Rubens Barrichello now. So Ferrari leads, Stewart second, Jordan third, Prost is fourth, Williams is fifth.
Here we go, Murray. Look, Michael coming again from a long way back, and he's just squeezing that brake pedal, not really even attempting to slow down in any big way. Rubens too tentative, and that gave Michael all the space he needed.
Ring the bells in Barrichello, because Eddie Irvine, there you see him, is in 6th position. He's in the points. He's past Trulli. He's right up behind Ralf, Schumacher's Williams. The first 6 are in the same shot. That's the race leader. Schumacher leading in the Ferrari on lap 53, and you can see the gap is actually increasing. Here he is.
Yeah, Michael clearly has got a faster car, but he must have made a mistake. Judging by how tentative he was into Adelaide next time around, I suspect he went skating past that to lose his 8 seconds in the middle of that lap. But now you can see him struggling for grip as the rear tyres beginning to overheat, and Häkkinen looking menacing again.
Odd in this age that we haven't had a replay if they caught it, because it would have been something quite dramatic. Anyway, he's now into his 54th lap, he being Schumacher. Look at the battle for second behind him. Barrichello has got Frentzen right up behind him. Frentzen has got the Prost right behind.
You can see in the pit lane they're getting another steering wheel ready for what must be Michael Schumacher's pit stop. So maybe he didn't go off the road. Maybe he just had some kind of gear selection problem. Remember when he first passed? James, what can you tell us?
Well, it's absolutely right, Martin. I don't know what sort of crystal ball you've got up there, but it's obviously a very expensive one. They've got Ignazio Lunetta, his race engineer, has got a spare steering wheel ready. Now, we've seen this a number of times with Ferrari where Schumacher's had gear selection difficulties. I was listening to him as he accelerated out of the final corner past me in the pits, and he was short shifting on the lap where he lost all that time. I think it's possibly the problem he had in that hairpin as well. He was looking for a gear, it wasn't there for him. I can tell you one other thing is that when he stops, he's putting wets on.
Thank you, James. You may be wondering why on earth he's going to change a steering wheel if he's got an engine problem. The answer is that so many of the functions on the car these days are controlled from the steering wheel that if you change it, you get better connections. And there's the confirmation. The new wheel, it'll only take a second or so to slot into position. He won't lose any time on top of the fuel stop and the tyres. And now look at Frentzen with Mika Häkkinen right up behind him. They've just scrambled past Tora Takagi. Rubens Barrichello did so better, as a result of which there's a gap. And that's Irvine off the course. He was in 8th position, and into the pits comes Michael Schumacher. Now,
let's watch him
Eddie
stop.
Irvine took 7 seconds.
He's got, I wonder if the engine stops if they change the wheel. No, it doesn't. They've got that one off to a fine art, haven't they? Does he? I don't think they have to restart the engine. Michael's got it on. He says, yeah, it's fine, let's go.
Oh,
no, the engine's not running.
Not go.
Oh, no.
Yes.
It took a while to get some kind of gear. So Michael with 13 seconds.
He's lost 6 seconds, Martin, on that stop compared with Eddie Irvine. So now the race leader is Rubens Barrichello.
And this is for second, Murray. Look, Häkkinen with a chance up the inside of Frentzen. He's getting a bit wiser now as the race goes on. Keeps a middle line and very much keeps that second place.
Olivier Panis darting about all over the circuit trying to find some wet tarmac, because he's only made one stop. His tyres are overheating. He's looking paradoxically for some water to drive through to cool them down.
Yes, and well, we saw Schumacher definitely put wets on again, and that's got to have been the right decision. And here's a replay of Irvine about to take a trip across the grass. I suspect he locks his front left going into 180 and just just drifts wider and wider and wider. I've been across that bit more than a few times, and it just sucks you in. You just cannot get away from it. And you go around the outside, it fills all the radiator ducts up with stones, but it's not too much of a problem. They come out in the next 2 or 3 braking zones.
Race leader, Rubens Barrichello. Second, Frentzen. Third, Häkkinen. Fourth, Olivier Panis. And Schumacher back in the race. Look for the Ferrari in the background. There is the Prost. Remember that Michael Schumacher lost an extra 6 seconds as a result of that fuel stop. This is lap 56 with Mika Häkkinen trying to improve from 4 World Championship points for third position to 6 for second.
Eddie Jordan turning away there. I think he probably knows that Häkkinen's got enough speed to at least get alongside Frentzen. They're not in the picture at the moment. They should come into view very close together, and Frentzen's got a nice line down the middle there, I have to say, and he just seems to have aced it finally in there, and Häkkinen getting a good run round the outside. I'd be surprised if he's got enough grunt to out-drag that Jordan down to Nürburgring, and in fact he hasn't.
Frentzen closes the door quite legally and quite safely. Mika Häkkinen will respect that move, and it's still Stewart leading Jordan, leading McLaren. They've both still got to come in and make another stop. Olivier Panis has got to do the same thing. He is in 4th position. There he was. Jarno Trulli is now 5th. Michael Schumacher is still in the points despite that long pit stop of his. He's in 6th position with the advantage of having had his second and final stop. But depending on the time that the others take, this race is going to be mighty close at the end. Coming up to complete lap 56 out of 72.
I tell you who's looking good, little Barrichello. He just keeps there at a sensible pace, and everybody else around him is having problems. We saw Michael with a long pit stop. If Barrichello can get a good pit stop in, he should lead this race, unless Schumacher's out there doing stunning lap times.
I'm looking for his lap time.
Yeah, he hasn't done a complete lap yet, other than his out laps from the pit. So we've got to wait another 30-40 seconds before we get a picture of Michael's actual raw speed. And here's Häkkinen with a better chance than ever. Oh wow, going right up underneath his gearbox. Frentzen now is trying to pinch him, and look at that. Häkkinen didn't have enough speed.
Heinz-Harold, that was magnificent.
He's gone deep. He's gone in too deep.
Heinz-Harold Frentzen, I was just going to say that's magnificent, but Mika Häkkinen was even better. The last of the late breakers, and Mika Häkkinen takes 2nd position from Heinz-Harold Frentzen with a gap of 2 seconds between him and the Stewart ahead, and there is Frentzen running wide, Häkkinen nipping through.
Yes, what happens? I mean, Frentzen has just got a whole bunch more aggressive going in there now in these last few laps, but unfortunately for him, as the downforce bleeds away, it's very easy in the wet to snatch a front brake just at the last moment, and you lose a lot of retardation, and you have to run wide.
Well, Häkkinen is marginally quicker than Barrichello at the moment. We don't know if Rubens has got anything in reserve, but here they are, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Lap 59, look at this battle for the lead between Rubens Barrichello and Mika Häkkinen, who has caught him, but Michael Schumacher is in 5th place, having made his 2nd stop. Here's a replay of Häkkinen trying.
This is 4 or 5 seconds before you came back with us, and really Rubens giving Häkkinen the space as he did Coulthard earlier on, but then just keeping his head. Remember, Häkkinen spun in exactly that kind of situation earlier in the race, and Rubens just calmly driving around the outside. Häkkinen with the significantly faster car at this stage of the race, and well, this race just keeps turning around all the way through.
Yeah, and watch Heinz-Harold Frentzen. You'll see the yellow Jordan in a moment. He's not giving up. Behind him is Jarno Trulli, who is yet to stop. Olivier Panis is down into 7th position from 4th, but he's had his 2nd stop. Race order now as you watch this battle. Barrichello leads Häkkinen, Frentzen 3rd, Trulli 4th, and he's in the pits. Michael Schumacher will go up to 4th position ahead of his brother, Ralf Schumacher.
Right, Häkkinen got a better drive through the middle of Estoril, and that's going to get him in front of Barrichello long before the braking area.
Lovely.
So Häkkinen takes the lead. Michael Schumacher's speed, remember, he had a 13-second pit stop, didn't really come out and set the world alight with his lap times as Häkkinen defends that lead. Barrichello's still getting a nice drive out, but no way he'll get back at Häkkinen from there. And can Michael Schumacher go fast enough to make up for that slow pit stop and end up back in the lead of the race when it's all shuffled through and everybody has stopped?
Well, Heinz-Harold Frentzen was actually the fastest man on that previous lap. as Häkkinen charged up alongside Barrichello.
Yes, I think these two slowed each other up a little bit as they had to wait, and it would be very easy to lock a wheel here and just run into the other car. So Häkkinen quite cautious from this point on. He's got the corner, and then he actually is very, very cautious. Probably a bit nervous of that white line again where he spun. He goes round the outside of it, and Barrichello says, well, I'll have a go. But he hasn't got enough speed or advantage to get ahead down into Nürburgring chicane. And this is Michael Schumacher, currently running 5th, but he has already pitted.
Yes, and he's only 5.7 seconds behind Mika Häkkinen, in spite of the fact that his pit stop was 6 seconds longer than his teammate Eddie Irvine, who is now down in 8th position. As we ride with Frentzen, look ahead, and you'll see Barrichello's car ahead of him. You can see Mika Häkkinen's car. We're with the 3rd placed Jordan of Heinz-Harold Frentzen, well and truly in the points again. And off goes De La Rosa in the arrows, and he is down in 11th position. Well, as he kept his engine running, it's very difficult. This is what happened. Frentzen came up alongside him.
Oh, look, that's a problem for Frentzen. He can't get the thing to change down. Look, he's stuck in a higher gear, and now he's got it on the cam and he's away. But has he got any gears? Yes, it's shifting up okay, but he's gone up the inside, look, and ended up with a box full of neutrals.
Look at De La Rosa's wing, front wing.
Yeah, I think De La Rosa, we saw him going off through the gravel, didn't we, and having that spin as a replay. And then we've cut to this, which is Frentzen with no apparent, I think he kept dipping the clutch, and it was in too long a gear. So no downshift there for the Jordan, but it appears to be okay now.
Well, he's still on 4 World Championship points. He's still in 3rd position. We're on lap 61 out of 72. Mika Häkkinen in the lead, 2.7 seconds ahead of Rubens Barrichello. Heinz-Harold Frentzen seems to me as though he's still got a problem.
No, it's changing okay now. It's doing all the normal things now. I think it's just so slow because there's so little grip, but that arrows is not doing him too many favours. But the arrows goes into pits, so that solves that problem in a hurry. And
as we rejoin Heinz-Harold Frentzen, who is now on his 68th lap.
Identical lap time to Häkkinen on that tour, and they're 2.3 seconds apart. You can see for yourself now, 2.369, so nip and tug.
Louise, what is it?
I can tell you that Frentzen is definitely not coming in. Frentzen not coming in again, so provided he keeps it on the black stuff, looks like he's going to win this race.
Well, let's not count our chickens before they're hatched, especially for Eddie Jordan. Jordan have only won one Grand Prix since they started in 1997, and that was Damon Hill, who won magnificently in Belgium last year. And Frentzen is getting a bit agitated. He's coming up behind Luca Badoa in the Minardi, who's in 10th place, and he goes through now. Well, he's ahead of him now. Now Mika Häkkinen has got to do the same thing. Frentzen, who, as I said earlier on, has taken to Jordan like a duck takes to water, and now Schumacher, Ralf, is resisting Eddie Irvine and trying to catch his brother. And this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th place. This is a race which is very difficult to keep up with. Action all the way, lap 68.
Yes, and remember how much time Frentzen lost when he had the wrong gear in the hairpin, when the car wouldn't downshift properly. So Frentzen, at some point or other, Jordan had made a very smart move during that safety car period of tanking up their car, filling it up with fuel, and that's put Frentzen in a very strong position, and he's just pulled another second away into the lead. His lead's now 3.2 seconds.
But Martin, why isn't Michael Schumacher getting away from his brother in the far less powerful Williams better?
But I think Michael's carrying some kind of problem. Remember, they changed the steering wheel. We know he lost 8 seconds on one lap or whatever, and ever since that point of the race, Michael's not really been in any kind of shape in terms of lap time.
Irvine looking to get past Schumacher, Ralf, and if he does so, it will help Michael Schumacher, because Eddie Irvine won't finish in front of the German, you can be quite sure of that. So we're on lap 69. Frentzen is leading Häkkinen in this 72-lap race by just over 3 seconds. Barrichello is in 3rd place. You're seeing the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th between Michael Schumacher, Ferrari, Ralf Schumacher, there he is, Eddie Irvine, there he is, out of Adelaide.
That's a pretty tense battle, isn't it? Ralph's going to be rather nervous of locking a brake and slamming into the back of his brother. They have run into each other before at the Nürburgring, but clearly Michael, I think, is just about the slowest of those three, actually, and Irvine the latest on the brakes. So there might be a few tears here in these last few laps of the French Grand Prix. And meanwhile, Frentzen looking very, very strong up front. I think he's going to take another second out of Häkkinen on this lap. So Frentzen, if Louise is right, and I'm sure she is, he's not stopping again. He is very much sailing towards a win for Jordan.
Well, the gap between Barrichello and Michael Schumacher is only about 4 seconds. Incidentally, when Martin was talking about the Nürburgring, that was the Nürburgring in Germany, not the Nürburgring corners here. The corners here are named after different circuits. Eddie goes through. Eddie Irvine goes through.
Very, very cheeky, but it is possible. He just proved it. But Ralph's the one who gets the grip out of the corner, and it didn't count after all that. But a typical Irvine move.
Eddie Irvine has given notice to Ralf Schumacher that he wants that 5th position, which he had momentarily. Here he goes on a replay, dives through on the inside of the Williams, closes up on his teammate Michael Schumacher, and then Ralf pays it back.
Yes, you can have it on the way in, or you can have it on the way out. You can't have both. And which Ferrari is that? That's Ralf going down the outside of Michael. So Michael definitely got some kind of pace problem. Can Ralf find some traction and get ahead of Michael? Yes, he can. He's going to beat Michael down to the Nürburgring chicane. Something wrong with that Ferrari.
Yeah, that'll be an aftermath of this. And now Eddie Irvine has just got to maintain station. This will enable Ralf Schumacher to pull away in that 4th position and consolidate it. Eddie Irvine's going through.
He's not allowed to do that in his contract, is he? He won't be allowed to do that, for sure.
I don't know. It's not inconceivable that well, it doesn't make any difference to Ferrari, of course, whether Schumacher finishes 5th or...
Oh, yes, Irvine. It does. Yes, it does. For the World Championship, Murray. I mean, they'll be wanting Michael to get maximum points in the squabble.
I withdraw. You're right.
With Mika on that, but Irvine cheekily coming up the inside of Michael. He'll be getting the call in a minute.
Well, now,
stay away, because he has to contractually.
Yeah, we haven't lost sight of what's happening at the front. Frentzen is on his last lap but one, and he's 5 seconds ahead of Mika Häkkinen. It looks as though we are indeed going to say a famous and incredible second historic Jordan win in Formula 1 here at Magny-Cours in France in 1999. Heinz-Harold Frentzen is on lap 71 in the 72-lap race. He's increasing his lead over Mika Häkkinen. Mika Häkkinen would be very disappointed to lose the win, but he's going to finish ahead of his World Championship rival Michael Schumacher and thereby increase his lead in the World Championship.
Well, is this going to rub salt in Damon Hill's wounds or what? If he did pull out of this race like he was suggesting, and it is his final race, just to add very much insult to injury, Frentzen looks like he could well win it in the same car.
And look, Irvine is... we're with Frentzen now. This is Heinz-Harold Frentzen, who started his Grand Prix career driving for the Swiss Sauber team in Formula 1 in 1994. He drove for them in 1995 and 1996. He switched to Williams in 97, where he won the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola. He wasn't a happy man.
Sorry, Murray, but he was completely nearly on opposite lock in the middle of that corner. Well out of shape. Mika's dropped back. He's 7 seconds behind now. Häkkinen given up the fight. So Frentzen on his merry way. Sorry to interrupt, Murray. No,
that's
well out of shape.
That's all right. I was just giving a bit of history to say that he drove for Williams last year. He wasn't a happy man. He joined Jordan this year, and my goodness has he been pleased. Second in Australia, third in Brazil. This is going to be 10 World Championship points if he can just bring the Jordan home for these last few corners, and there would be no justice if he could not. Remember, they're getting out into the pit lane now. Eddie Jordan nearly in tears of worry, because Heinz-Harold Frentzen comes out of the right-hander very shortly at Chateau d'Eau. He will then only have the drop down to the chicane, turn 12, turns 13 and 14 to win the Grand Prix here at France in absolutely scintillating form after having fought every inch of the way. And he's out of Chateau d'Eau now. This is an historic moment. Heinz-Harold Frentzen clears the chicane. lines up the last corner, and Jordan and Heinz-Harold Frentzen win in France. Magnificent. Wow, what a French Grand Prix.
Well, it's amazing. Remember, McLaren had it in the bag early on, then it had a big change around and Ferrari looked like the team, then McLaren again, and Jordan ended up winning the race. Barrichello was the only other main contender all the way through. Somehow Frentzen has come through and won the race.